So today I'll be going over the short story Do Not Go Gentle by Sherman Alexie and its connection to the theme of loss. So right in the beginning, my wife and I didn't know Missy Grief in person until our baby boy got his face stuck between his mattress and crib and suffocated himself blue. So right off, we are introduced with a couple having to deal with Missy Grief, just like in this picture. The couple are not alone, but rather they are accompanied by Missy Grief himself as well. My second quote, Mr. Grief was the billionaire. He could afford to check on our baby every 6 hours, but every 6 hours, my wife and I cussed him out and sent him running. I chose this picture specifically to the right, as when people are having to deal with tough situations, we are having to fork through lots and lots of money, which is why Mr. Grief is a billionaire, as he takes advantage of our tough situations. Number 3, when you're hurting, it feels good to hurt somebody else, but you have to be careful. If you get addicted to the pain causing, then you start hurting people who don't need hurting. I believe this story goes along with the 5 stages of grief, and we have stage 2 of anger. When angry, we tend to lash out on people, and just like the quote says, we don't mean to hurt others as we ourselves are hurting as well. And sometimes saying awful things can be just as painful as a knife, just like in this photo. My fourth quote, my wife spends more time sleeping than I did. I figured she was sadder because she had carried our baby inside her womb and had memorized the way he moved. I agree with the mom being more connected to the kid, as this is maternal instinct, and how wives or females in general tend to be more protective when they are with their kids. In this picture, we see a mother in distress holding their child, the same feeling the wife is going through. My fifth quote, I was awake and paralyzed by the deadly venom of the grief snake. I wonder if I was going to die right there in a terrible and shameful and hilarious way. In here, we are going to stage 3 of grief, depression, and this is when we see the husband at his lowest. This picture shows exactly of where the husband's going through, as he is covered mostly in dark light, barely in any bright light, and this is what Mr. Grief does. My sixth quote, a father with a sick child is an angry god. I know I would have earthquaked Los Angeles, Paris, and Rome, and killed a million innocent people if it guaranteed my baby boy would have raised back to his full life. This husband was willing to trade cities and innocent lives, and even fight for it. And in this picture is perfectly how I imagine it. A messy earthquake background, but a kid finally showing up in front of them. My seventh quote, I waved it over our baby and ran around the room waving it over the other sick babies. I was laughing and hooting, and other folks were laughing and hooting, and a few others didn't know what the hell to do. So in this picture, we have a group laughing just like what's happening here. The husband's playing with the chocolate thunder around, and this is his way of dealing with the situation better, with humor, and he's getting others to laugh along with him, which is why I have a group of people laughing. That's my picture. Number 8. Maybe it was Bloodanism, and maybe it was stupid and useless, but we were all sick and tired of waiting for our babies to die. So here I have a picture of a man not giving up and pushing himself through, just like how these people in the hospital are doing as well. They are accepting that while some of the babies might not make it, they are tired of feeling this grief that they've been feeling for many days. She used up the energy of 2 batteries, and maybe our baby would have waken up anyway. And a few other babies never did wake up at all. But my wife still believes our son heard the magic call of chocolate thunder and couldn't resist. I believe that their baby was able to wake up again because they had hope and chocolate thunder by themselves, and this helped defeat Mr. Grief as well. And here I have a baby listening in with the situation that they did. And lastly, we deported Mr. Grief back to his awful country. So lastly, in my picture, we have a couple overcoming Mr. Grief, and in here, they both look happy. And I specifically chose this picture because of how open and free the woman's arms are, representing freedom as they are free from Mr. Grief. And that is all. These are all my citations that I used. And yeah, thank you for watching.